everyone. Today I want to talk about tossing. This is for you fellow Avon representatives out there. Tossing is basically using your older Avon brochures, whether they are still being able to order out of or ones that are expired, and packaging them up and tossing them in driveways or leaving them on porches, you know, whichever works for you. I like using my older brochures, you know, ones I didn't get out to people for tossing, instead of using my current ones. And I'm going to show you how I package mine up and just what I use to do that with. And I also want to talk about tossing in general. It tends to be a low gain strategy. By that I mean, if you toss 100 brochures, don't expect to get, you know, 100 phone calls. If you're lucky, you might get one phone call out of that. More often than not, you probably won't get a phone call. And I know what you're thinking, probably like, then why bother do it, you know? The reason you bother doing it is because it's better to toss those brochures into yards or into driveways or hang them on doors or leave them on front porches than it is to throw them in the trash can. And normally I would use books that are a bit older than this one. This is a C14 book, and I'm currently on C15 right now. So normally I would use ones that are older than this, but I just have these laying here to show you guys how I go about that. So the first thing I do with any tossing book is I put one of my labels on it. And I make these labels myself. This is the Avery Easy Peel labels, number 18160, and it's to use Avery template 5160, and I just used it on the Avery website, which is avery.com, and it's free to use and print out. And I just put on mine Avon Independent Sales Representative Renee Ward, and then I put my phone number, and then I put my e-store address. I just keep it really simple and black print. So I just take one of those and I stick it on the back of the Avon book, and I don't put an expiration date on these, so I just put my info on there. And another thing that I will occasionally put on my brochures is these labels that I make on the Avery site for my e-store, and this has a QR code on it, which you can do that on the Avery site, and these just say shop my e-store 24/7, orders over $40 ship free, scan the code or go to, and then I put my e-store address on there, and that's what these here look like. And that's on the same type of label as the other ones. And I also want to apologize for the mess in the background there. I need to clean it. So just ignore that. But occasionally, you know, I will put one of those on there for that, to advertise that. And currently what I'm doing for a recruiting label, I didn't print labels for that this time. I'm doing something a bit different here lately, and this is I just printed these on regular computer paper, and this is the $15 bill recruiting, you know, flyers. And I found this template in the Onward No Matter What Facebook group. It's for Avon representatives, so just go on Facebook and search for Onward No Matter What and join that there. And it is in the files section, if I'm not mistaken. This template is also in the files section of a few other Avon Facebook groups. But I did edit it a little bit. I changed a bit of the wording. It says the cost of lunch could change your life. Work from home, start your own Avon business for just $15, up to 50% commissions and unlimited earnings potential, free website to sell from, contact me or enroll online instantly. And I put the web address startavon.com and my reference code, which is Renee Ward 25514. And then below that, I just put my name, my phone number, and my e-store address. And I take this, my trusty stapler, and I staple it to the front of the brochures. You could staple it to the back if you want. I just choose to staple it to the front. That one's not too secure, so there we go. That'll be better. And just staple that to the front. And I use these clear literature bags that I buy from Avon. You get, I think it's 50 in a pack, I want to say, and I think they're only like 80 cents. But yeah, a pack of 50 for 80 cents. And they're just little clear bags, and they do have this little hole in the top, so if you wanted to hang them on doorknobs, you could definitely do that. But I'll show you what I do for tossing. I put the book in this way. And I also want to mention that I don't include any other flyers, you know, like the little sales flyers. Unless I have like an abundance of those left over, but sometimes I'll just toss those by themselves. But I don't include any samples or anything like that, because that costs money. It adds up, especially for something that is a low gain strategy. So I have my brochure in like this, and this excess right here I find about the middle of the brochure, and I just tuck it down in there good, squeeze out some of that excess air, and it's ready to be tossed. Another thing you can do if you prefer, and occasionally I will do it as well, and that is to roll the brochure up. Just take it and roll it like this, and then just put a rubber band around it and toss it like that. You can do that as well, just whichever works for you. It's personal preference. But this is just an easy way to do it, and you can toss this pretty easily, and the bag protects it from the elements. Because it seems to me like every time I go tossing, it rains, so I don't know what's up with that. But anyway, I just want to show you guys what I do, how I package my books up, and just a few, you know, things about tossing. A few other tips about it is, occasionally you will have to toss the same area more than once. You'll have to toss it several times. And also, another thing is, a lot of people say, what if someone calls me and they're angry about it? I haven't had that happen to me yet, but if that happens to you, the best advice I could give you is to just say, oh, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry you didn't, you know, I'm sorry for the inconvenience. May I take down your address so I can make sure that I don't do it again? And, you know, that's really all you can do, honestly. Another thing that I try to do is, if I see a dog in the yard, you know, that I think could get into this, my rule is, if I see a dog in their yard, you know, not a stray, but just a dog that they have in their yard that could get a hold of this, I usually will try to toss that far enough away from where the dog is so it doesn't get a hold of the book and shred it all over their yard. So if you see someone with a dog in their yard and it's over on this side, I try to get the brochure as far from where I think it can get to it at as possible, because you don't want their dog shredding this all over the yard. That's just something I do. Another thing is, don't put brochures in or on mailboxes. That is against the Postal Service policy rules thing, but that's a no-no to do that. Another thing about tossing is, watch where you throw it. I mean, I have awful aim. I honestly do. I suck at throwing things, but try not to throw it, you know, in mud puddles or things like that. Sometimes you can't help it, but if you can help it and you can avoid it, you know, try to, because nobody wants to fish something out of a mud puddle. And also, don't hit any vehicles either. If you can, try to throw it away from where the vehicles are parked at, because you don't want to accidentally hit someone's car and their alarm go off and you just disturb the whole neighborhood. As for times to toss, I prefer tossing at night, because there's less traffic out, and there's, like I said, there's usually nobody out at night. I don't like tossing during rush hour, really, because even if it is a slow residential area, and I live in a small town, but certain times of the day, there's just so many people out. And there's nothing, and a lot of times for tossing, you know, you gotta slow down to toss. And nobody likes to be behind someone who is going really slow or even just a little bit below the speed limit. So I don't like that. I don't like holding traffic up. And to be honest with you, I don't like having a bunch of cars behind me as I toss. It's just me. But I don't like that. So I like tossing at night if I can, or in, you know, an off hour where there's not as many people out. And don't get discouraged if nobody calls, because it happens. And like I said, more often than not, you do have to toss that area multiple times. Another thing you do want to check on is your local laws and regulations regarding that, because some towns and cities require you to get a license. I think some places call it like a peddler's license or something. So you want to check your local laws and regulations to see if they restrict doing this, that if it's a total no-no, you definitely don't want to do it because you could potentially get fined. And of course, if a license is required, you do want to get that. Where I live, it's, I don't need a license to do it, but I'm just saying, if you're unsure about, you know, any regulations regarding stuff like that, definitely look into that. You could most likely call your local courthouse or your local, you know, just city council if you have that. Or a lot of places, honestly, are online now. They have a website. You can pull that up. But if you're like me and you live in a really small town and there is no website for that, you could probably just call your local courthouse and ask somebody there, and they could give you the answer for that. And that's just, you know, that's just my tips for you. There are probably so many more tips out there for tossing and regarding other practices. That is just one of the things that I do. Don't rely on tossing alone to build your business. Don't rely on doing any one thing to build your business. You want to try different things. You want to diversify your business and what you do. Tossing is just one of the many things you can do to help build your business. So definitely look into trying other things. You know, it's like I said, don't rely on tossing. Don't rely on just one thing in particular to build your business. Try a bunch of different things. Find out what works best for you and go from there. You know, expand upon it. Tinker with it a little bit to do it to your liking, to your situation, to your location. And just, it's your business. It's your Avon business. So do what works for you. But that's all I have for you guys right now. Thank you so much for watching and have a blessed day. Bye.